Well, it's that time of the week when we go out to the other coast of the United States where all the movies are made and find out whether they're good or bad once they've finished making them with Michael Snyder. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and greetings, listeners. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. It's autumn, and we're getting the colors changing of the leaves on the East Coast, and out here it's all the same. But we do have new movies. I had no way to see Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween, by the way. Movies that were far more interesting took its place, and probably for the best, because I was lukewarm on the first Goosebumps. As far as those more interesting movies, let's get to them. The first big prestige movie of the week, the one that we're going to get on and push because we liked it, the one that's clearly trolling for awards, is First Man, the third compelling feature project to come from Oscar-winning filmmaker Damien Chazelle after Whiplash and La La Land. A change of pace from his previous two movies, and by the way, this is not written by him. He had a screenwriter handle this. First Man is a biographically skewed docudrama that takes an unconventional episodic approach to tell the story of NASA's big quest to land a man on the moon in the 60s. Chazelle uses astronaut Neil Armstrong, eventually the first man to actually tread on the lunar surface, as the central figure in the movie, despite how right it is to focus on Armstrong and to a lesser extent his family. He was apparently a chilly, albeit exceptionally adept fellow, played here with taciturn reserve, maybe a little too much, by Ryan Gosling, who was Chazelle's lead actor in La La Land. And as thrilling as many of the flight sequences are in the movie, and they are edge-of-your-seat thrilling and beautifully, realistically rendered, Armstrong comes off as such a stiff that the more personal, heroic elements are a bit dampened. Claire Foy is as good as ever, here playing Mrs. Armstrong, and you also get the joys of briefly watching Corey Stoll as everyone's favorite astronaut, the charismatic Buzz Aldrin. The rest of the cast is really solid, including Kieran Hines, Kyle Chandler. But the main focus is on Gosling's Armstrong and the mission itself. Thanks to all the archival footage and photographs and documentation, and with the help of modern special effects used to their most ideal advantage, there is power here. When First Man soars beyond its earthbound snapshots, and it does enough of the time, you'll feel like you're there with Armstrong on one of man's greatest journeys. It's good. It's a good film. Despite its flaws, Bad Times at the El Royale is kind of my kind of movie, and I had a blast watching it. It's the tale of 7 people of questionable morals and motives who are destined to combust when they all end up at a hotel smack on the California-Nevada border. I mean, some of the rooms are in Cali, some are in Nevada. Anyway, these people include a salesman played by John Hamm, a priest played by Jeff Bridges, a lounge singer played by rising Broadway star Cynthia Erivo, who was absolutely terrific here, and a tough-minded young woman played by Dakota Johnson, among others. But appearances can be deceiving. There are crimes, passions, and big mistakes involved, and eventually Chris Hemsworth shows up as a character who basically causes all hell to really break loose. It's a bleakly funny, offhandedly violent, intriguingly cast movie from writer-director Drew Goddard that takes a bit to get going, but when it does, it's got a few delights in store for anyone who would go for, say, Quentin Tarantino light. And I mean that as a compliment. Goddard, by the way, is the screenwriter of The Martian, Cloverfield, Cabin in the Woods, did a lot of TV work, including Buffy and Daredevil, and he's very good at what he does. And yet, this is one of his lesser works. All that aside, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Okay, excuse me. Beautiful Boy is next. Based on a true story, it tells of the struggle faced by a father and son in the lap of Northern California privilege when the smart, well-loved kid descends into drug addiction. We've seen this sort of tale before, although the actors involved, Steve Carell as writer, David Sheff of Rolling Stone fame, Maura Tierney as his second wife, Amy Ryan as his first wife and the mother of the kid, and especially Timothy Chalamet, who got all those kudos for I get, what was it called again? Oh, Call Me by Your Name. He plays the troubled teenager, and they're all very, very good. Maybe the best thing about the movie is Chalamet. The script is actually derived from two memoirs, one by the father and one by the son. So cohesion is a little lacking, and there's a clear point of view that you really kind of crave and you don't get here. The awful circumstances of the situation are heartbreaking, but it kind of fails to hone in on causality. Plus, the resolution of the film is a little abrupt. And despite some cool needle drops, a few of the selections are so heavy-handed and wrong-headed that they kind of take away from the reality of the situation. Written and also directed by somebody. I've never heard of the guy before. But you know what? Doesn't really matter because I kind of was not crazy about this. We'll wrap with The Happy Prince. In what was clearly a passion project for him, Rupert Everett proves a triple threat as screenwriter, director, and star of The Happy Prince, which is a lovely but dark and sometimes scattered and ultimately moving examination of the dissipated final days of the great and witty British writer, bon vivant, and sexual maverick Oscar Wilde. This is when Wilde is ill and banished from England after a jail term for, well, let's call it buggery. The once lionized and then scorned genius heads for Europe, where he has a tragic sojourn in Belle Epoque Paris and a last fling in Italy. Supporting cast is a who's who of exceptional UK actors, including Colin Firth as one of Wilde's allies and Emily Watson as Wilde's wife, as well as Tom Wilkinson and Anna Chancellor in smaller roles. You know, if this is your cup of tea, drink up. The Happy Prince, available this weekend.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Well, I suppose you know Doctor Who is back on. So
what did you think, Bennett?
I thought after several really uninspired years, it was good to see a new showrunner on the program and to see what they're doing with it. And I thought it was very good.
You like Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor?
Well, obviously I would have to if I said it was very good.
Okay, just wanted to kind of name check her so people know. She is lovely at what she does. She was terrific in Broadchurch, and she brings a kind of a real winsomeness, but still that crazy determination.
Well, she's
and
doing
can-do attitude.
She's doing her impression of David Tennant.
For right now, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if you get a chance, we'll talk a little more about it next week. If you get a chance to see The Oath, it's my favorite new holiday movie. The Oath. It's also out right now in various theaters.
Well,
I guess that's it. You can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. You know,
and you forget you're also on Spotify.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, very cool. Anyway, we'll talk to you again next week. And for the rest of you, if you're listening 24/7, there's more GABNet coming right up. So stay right where you are.